All right, now we zip it, lock it, put in your pockets. Hedwig! Oh, the Sword of Godric Gryffindor. Oh, the common rooms look so great. Peeves! I think we've seen a lot of this gameplay footage so far. Some of it, not all of it. Oh, so flippin' cool the way they did the common rooms. I'm a Ravenclaw. According to Pottermore, I'm a Ravenclaw, but for that...
What's up, everybody?
alone.
Welcome to the first Hogwarts Legacy gameplay stream. I'm Chandler Wood, Community Manager here at Avalanche Software, and we've got a lot of really exciting stuff to show you today. Such a nice dude on Twitter. But before we get into showing you the game and gameplay, I have a few wonderful guests that I need to introduce you to. First up, we have our community guest host. He brings you the latest and greatest in Hogwarts Legacy content. He's the local Merlin conspiracy theorist.
Guilty as charged, yes.
One half of XpectoGO, yeah. James Whitehead.
Thanks, Chandler. Yes, I'm James Whitehead of XpectoGO, bringing you guys the latest and greatest in Hogwarts Legacy.
That man like does exclusively Hogwarts Legacy news, like it's insanity.
The better half, my wife.
He's on top of everything.
The other half, so.
And Chandler Wood, the community manager, I love him too. He's like so friendly and communicative on Twitter. It's absolutely incredible. More community managers should be like him.
And we've got two people from the studio, just two of the many people bringing this thing together. The magic of Hogwarts Legacy. Game director Alan Tu.
Hello, everyone.
And senior environment artist and Hogwarts expert Boston Madsen. So thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedules right now to sit down with us to help us show everybody gameplay. So what we're going to be showing you today, first, the character creator, because it's your legacy, and you have to create yourself.
I want to see the leveling up, though. That's what I'm really curious
to get
about.
Into Hogwarts and bring your whole authentic self to Hogwarts. So we're going to show you that character creator. Then
and the skills, and the leveling up.
And it's just a small tour of Hogwarts, right? Because Hogwarts is huge. Hogwarts is really big. So we're going to be showing you a little bit, but it's still a lot. So,
and you got to leave some secrets for us.
Combat. A little taste of combat, a little taste of how all that works.
Cool.
Just a little taste, yeah. So we're excited to get there. But again, first and foremost, we need to get into this character creator. And James, with you here, we wanted to let you create this character. So Andrew, who is going to be doing all of our gameplay capture today, is going to be handing you the controller.
Hi, Andrew.
Oh my gosh. All right, I won't break anything. All right, so what are we looking at right here on this screen?
These are your presets. So a lot like other games, there's some initial settings that you can put up.
I like the visual style of this game. I like that it's not hyper realistic.
Into like
ooh, I like that preset.
What you want to be, who you want to be, and what you want to change.
Oh man.
And then once you're in that ballpark, all of the other tabs let you dial that in, be exactly who you want to be. It's our goal with this is to make sure that for anyone that
it's interesting they didn't separate it into male and female presets,
that they feel like they have the options in order to represent who they are and essentially bring themselves to Hogwarts or whatever character they want to bring to Hogwarts.
Oh my god, and options galore. Do you
there's a lot of presets, which is awesome. I love that.
Right quick?
It's all about you
today. Okay. All right. So, yeah, that's me. We're here. That's me right there. All right, so that's step one.
We're pretty close, but let's look at everything here. You know, play around with some of these options.
It does say work in progress below.
All right, so what are we looking at with this option over here with the tab? I see.
How do you guys feel about the graphics in this game? Because I know I've seen like mixed reactions, to be honest. I think they look beautiful.
Are choices that you have here. So you can, now you're just kind of getting into the details in your face shape, in your skin color. And then because we knew a lot of people going right in are going to want it right away, even though it's an option later in the game, you can collect different types of glasses, put them on later. We give you some options right up front.
I was going to say something about the amount. I was like, 3 glasses?
Oh my gosh.
Like what? But you find them in the game.
With this
which is an interesting collectible. Like finding glasses, it's kind of like
I like that.
a lesser version of the ponchos in Jedi Fallen Order.
And down here is this.
Those are your glasses there. Yeah.
Oh, so we started. We could go Harry Potter if we want. Off the jump. Oh man! And this is just some of the options, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So through the course of the game, there's a lot of different options that you'll keep unlocking.
Okay.
So as part
It's
of
cool.
kinda like
It's cool. I
your
like that you
character,
unlock
there's
like
lots of different
some of the
classes,
cosmetic
there's
things,
masks,
though.
There's all kinds of things over the course of the game.
Like
for-
how it's all
I wonder if
Victorian
it's
era,
one of those
though.
things that you
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
find in
Such a good call.
chests,
Such a good call.
or if
Oh
you
my
get
God.
them
All right, so
through
now-
mission
oh my-
rewards,
oh,
or
we
if you
can
just
go
buy
click
them outright.
on this one with the hair.
I spend a lot of time here just like dreaming about my different characters. And what
Oh
they're gonna
my
be like.
gosh, the pony. The thing I'm always amazed by whenever I see any
This is nice.
aspect
This is a
of
decent
Hogwarts
level of
Legacy
detail. It's not
character
like
creator, it's
something
just
completely
the texture.
overwhelming because
And like you
I
even
think
add
that
in the
honestly,
bounce
I'm gonna
of
be
the
honest.
air
I
moving
think that
around. Yo, that kind of looks like Hermione a little bit. I'm not even gonna.
I'm gonna lower this just a bit for now.
And we can
It
just go-
reminds
can I
me
go,
a
like,
bit
talk
of
more green a little bit.
Absolutely.
or rather, what I was trying to say is what I think is one of the better character creation systems is actually Fallout, where you can grab the pieces of the face and kind of sculpt them. It didn't seem to have that. That would have been in this section here to really fine-tune the face. But they had a bunch of presets that you can choose from for face shape, so there was that. Unless I just missed it.
But oh my gosh, this is so cool. So you literally can bring yourself. Like it's a myriad of textures and different hairstyles here. All right, so now we're getting over here to play around with some of the.
These are more subtle options. We've
Okay.
got freckles, moles, different things like when it comes to
Yeah,
your
definitely
complexion,
not
like
the
darker
most
eyes,
advanced
maybe some
character
shading on
creator
the
I've ever
cheeks.
seen,
Oh,
but it's
man.
functional.
You guys literally thought of everything with this.
I do have a bit of fun with that. And then the scars are one of those options where, Harry had his own unique scar, but you can come in with different scar options.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Look at that. I didn't even see that.
Oh, those are my favorite. The eyebrow scars.
Small things too, like in some other character creators where you can like change the opacity of the scars themselves, right, to make them a little bit more subtle, add multiple different ones instead of just having to pick one. Things like that I think can help to further allow you to really make some really creative, unique characters. So again, I would say that this is functional, but not the most mind-blowing character creation I've ever seen.
I mean, literally, you have so many options just starting the game. I feel like I'm going to be here like forever.
You and me both.
And then this final tab here, this is where you kind of bring your whole character together. This is where you finalize everything. You're not choosing your house here.
Okay.
That's not yet.
That was a theory.
But here's where you bring you choose voice 1 or voice 2, which is more kind of a masculine or a feminine voice, and then even within that, changing your pitch,
with
the pitch slider.
Okay,
It's a
I like
slider,
that.
yeah,
I
but you can
like
hear it.
that. So you can actually have some different voices with the pitch.
And so you can kind of make out the differences. But yeah, you choose which kind of voice that you want. You'll be selecting your difficulty here. For today,
They're
we'll just
talking
go
over the
normal.
voice, but
Andrew's going to be taking us through some of the experiences with combat later.
And we can talk a little more about difficulty, with combat and how that plays in.
That is a
But I
big
think
question.
the important thing here is like if for people who aren't gamers, especially,
Right.
story mode is a way to get into this without being worried about like, oh, do I need to be good at games? Like, no, just enjoy this game.
And I would put expecto and then go. We're good. We're good. Awesome.
And then whether you want to be witch or wizard.
Amazing.
What do you think, character creator? We're good?
I'm good. Let's explore Hogwarts and let's get into some combat.
All right. Through the magic of using a dev kit, we're going to be loading up a save a little later in.
Cool.
So that we can show
yeah,
you more
all right,
about Hogwarts
neat.
and give you that taste of combat.
what do you guys think?
All right, Andrew's
Are you
got
guys
some
impressed with the
gameplay
character
pulled up
creation?
For us here, we are
Not impressed.
starting out, James.
It's
there-
okay.
there
I
you
think
are. You're wearing the
it's
House
fine.
Fanatic
It's nothing
robes,
special to me,
from
but
from the account link
what do you
there.
guys think about character
I do
creation?
look good. And this is our first
Here's
look
the
at
UI.
Hogwarts Common Room, I'm assuming.
Here's the first
dorm
look at
room.
the UI.
Yeah. This is awesome. But Alan, what are
Consumables
we
in
seeing
the
right here with
bottom
UI?
left here.
This is our first look.
Yeah.
Hope they explain what this
right
is.
now, we know there's been a lot of questions about about the HUD because this is the first time we're showing it.
Generic?
So,
yeah, I could agree with that.
Kind of going over it from right to left. On the bottom right is what we call our spell diamond. So those are, everything that you see in it are slottable spells. So we have over 20 slottable spells that you can earn over the course of the game.
Okay.
And that's where the player can place them and use them and access them very quickly. To the top left of that is, you'll see the D-pad, and on the left is an eyeball, and on the right is a bit of a grid.
Yeah.
So the eyeball is an example of one of, not a slottable spell, but what we call an essential spell. There are certain spells that are used in very specific contexts, or that we just want on the controller at all times, and Revelio is one of those. That's left on the D-pad. On the right on the D-pad is that grid represents where you might slot spells. And so right now, today, we're not going to be going into the spell slotting menu because we feel like there's a lot of spoilers there, you know, like what are all the spells and what can we do?
Would like
all right, so they're not revealing all the spells today.
Yeah,
it's enough. Like, it's enough. It gets by.
And then on the left side, that thing that has the L1 button next to it, that's another thing where we don't want to spoil, but basically, that's where you access your tool wheel. So there's a lot of magical tools that you're going to be kind of brewing and growing over the course of the game. And so that's where you would access them rapidly, is our tool wheel.
Okay, cool.
There are a few things that I left off the table on the right. The green bar is your health, and basically there's a potion next to it. That's how you might heal. The bar above it, we're keeping a secret for now. I apologize. And all the way on the left is our mini map with a kind of overhead view of where you are currently in your common room that updates as you travel through Hogwarts and beyond out into the world. And for those fans out there that aren't a huge fan of minimaps, because we know they exist, there's also options to remove the minimap and turn on or off different elements of our HUD.
All right, I like that. I hope that they have an option for just a compass, like at the top. I think Skyrim did that great, the compass at the top.
And this is our HUD.
Also, Andrew's giving us a good look over here. I want to call out. I'm a big fan of the bedside tables in the dormitories. Very nice bedside tables.
They are nice bedside tables.
Bedside tables. 20 doesn't sound like a lot. You know, listen, you have to keep in mind you're technically like your first year being a wizard. So I'll take it.
We really tried making these low-ceilinged dorms to give you that Badger set sort of feel.
The first thing I know is the music. The score is amazing with this.
Gorgeous.
And I'm calling out here, this is unique music that you're hearing for the Hufflepuff Common Room. Go back to those Common Room videos we released, you'll notice the music's a little bit different, and that is entirely intentional.
It looks great. I like that. I like that he actually walks down the stairs like a person, instead of just like the generic walking.
Oh my gosh!
But he actually does the steps. It's like a Rockstar Games thing. To actually have them go up each step.
We could spend like the entire rest of the stream just in the common
beautiful
room
environments. Like they've done, they've clearly spent so much time trying to make the environments feel alive.
All the details come from.
I like the dancing cactus on the left.
For this common room. The round doors, the hanging vines, even the dancing badgers on the fireplace.
It's got a real earthy vibe.
Yeah.
It's very, very earthy.
Which is like elements for each of the houses, right?
Hufflepuff is earth, Ravenclaw is air, Gryffindor is fire, and Slytherin is water. We really leaned into that for each common room.
Wow.
So if it feels earthy, we've got a little earth and
yeah, what houses is everybody? Everybody watching, tell me what your house is.
It should feel
Let me know. Who's the Slytherins?
It does.
But I know you
Who's the evil wizards in the chat?
Thank you. I understand. Whoa, the sound effects though. Like, looking back at the past trailers, it was just music, but kind of hearing how Hogwarts is now, it's so cool.
It's tactile.
Yeah.
Andrew's going to make use of one of our spells, Revelio.
Use Revelio right here, because there's a little magic going on.
You notice a little something there. Yeah. So, these are something that we kind of interchangeably.
Slytherin? Ah, you're the evil wizard. I knew there was at least one. We have one evil. Ravenclaw? I'm a Ravenclaw too.
And you can also see that we've advanced something called like a field guide challenge up in the corner. So I want to talk about that a little bit.
All right, we got our collectibles.
We had to ask ourselves, what?
Continue, I'm sorry.
There may be something you may or may not be able to tickle there.
Yeah.
But in our game, we had to answer the question, you know, we're a late fifth year. What does that mean? How do we catch up to the other students?
Okay.
And so
Thieves!
we have an answer to that question, and it's given to you by the staff. So there's something that we call the Wizard's Field Guide that's granted to you early on in the game. And the Wizard's Field Guide is how you actually work on catching up with the other students. So Andrew, if you hit pause for me up here, before we push forward a little bit, you can see in our pause menu, it's got this book theme.
Wow.
That's your Wizard's Field Guide. And you can see your house kind of crest overlaid over it.
Okay,
right? And you can see that on your level as well. So that the field guide has this magical property of looking out into the world around you. And the reason why it's on loan from the Ministry of Magic and the professors have granted it to you as a late 5th year student is because they want it to help you catch up to the other kids. And its magical property is to discover different opportunities to learn and grow all around you. So the way it works is, as you discover gameplay in the game, it actually recognizes that as a challenge, which is kind of locked into there. And Andrew, if you go in there, you'll see different types of challenges that are combat challenges, quest challenges, exploration challenges, and you can see field guide pages are on there as well.
So 1%. We unlock that one field guide.
So there's 100.
One of the ways that the book itself kind of fills out
field
into
guide
the
pages?
school and spills out into the school and kind of hides itself with different types of challenges and different things to do around the school that you're actually going to interact with to help you grow as a wizard and practice your spells. And so that thing that we just saw is not just a field guide challenge and a way to earn XP. It's also something that that players can use to learn about the school as they're traveling around. They spot these little secret facts and they can kind of play a little bit of a game discovering all of them. And there are over 100 field guide pages just in Hogwarts alone. So.
Little glimpse of the grand staircase here. We're not gonna
circular staircase.
All the portraits. And I did notice the flue flame.
Okay, they got
right there,
flue flame
so
for
cool.
fast travel.
Oh man.
fast travel points there. House hourglass.
There was one in the common room too.
How much fun was it designing those and putting all those in there?
They're gorgeous, but that they're there just like in the books.
Yes.
Right next to the Great Hall.
It's a nod to lore. House points is not a core mechanic
and you could see
in the game.
We didn't turn it into like a
right
gameplay
here.
system,
There's another
but it's
thing
definitely
that was
present throughout
glowing.
the narrative, and there are lots of choices where we want to nod to things that aren't necessarily gameplay systems, but we nod to them as part of the narrative.
Over to the right there, Andrew was teasing. That's the Great Hall.
What are they cheering over?
Again,
what are those two students
he's
cheering
just kind of
over?
like, no.
Cool.
Here's another collectible page. You know, just again showing you like just these things around Hogwarts that you can do and pick up and.
All right.
That's a shot straight from the trailer too. Just that part right there. I recognize that.
We might be giving you a little fan service here with callbacks to those. So.
And this must be summertime because I noticed these are the summertime windows. These windows must.
There's another Revelio thing I think I
detail
just saw glowing right there.
I get surprised by it all the time.
Sentient magic.
The school looks good. Like again, I know that some people aren't crazy about the art style, but I think it actually looks pretty good personally.
Look at that.
This is where the students would normally kind of congregate.
The animations of some of the students are weird. Like, what is that student cheering about on the right?
And I love the way that when the castle interconnects to, that it interconnects outside, inside. There are pathways on both sides of things, so you really get a sense of scope to how big this castle is.
And when you see things, like you'll notice a bridge over there, that's a place you can go to and cross. Like everything that you see is a place that you can
Oh, that's
visit.
cool.
Wow.
I like the ambient students flying around.
And make it feel really alive. Not just with student population, but even just the greenery and stuff. It's Scotland.
Yeah.
And this castle's been here for hundreds of years, so it just kind of the moss and all the trees that have overgrown it.
Yeah, this looks a lot more lived in. I was very critical about the NPC density in my analysis, and this looks much better. Much better.
The spring ASMR, and yes, so that puzzle right there, that view, Andrew is taking us right back to that.
I'm gonna tell Andrew not to.
Besides for the students randomly cheering, I don't know what they're cheering over.
We can't spoil everything. We can't give you everything, right?
Hogwarts contains a lot of secrets.
Oh my god!
But this is this grand entryway right here, coming down into a really kind of central area.
Yeah, we're coming upon the central hall, and we pointed out the greenhouse outside, and we'll notice when we get down there that it's on the right.
This is a big hub of the school. Like it's a big castle, but it is designed so you shouldn't get very lost. This is kind of
the music's incredible.
Station.
I love that.
Each direction, you know, it's green over there, so the greenhouse is over there. Transfiguration courtyard.
I don't know, crazy.
Straight ahead, so it's kind of a the hub
Oh my
of
God.
a lot of the castle.
Even the color visually, you can just tell, okay, green,
Oh, green, go
greenhouse.
that way.
Oh my God.
A lot of it'll be subconscious, but
Yeah.
it'll help you really learn the castle and feel like you know your way around.
Yeah,
That's not to say that it's easy to learn.
they've put so much effort into the castle. Is that a Riddler trophy?
It's a castle.
Did you see the question mark? Riddler trophies?
I love that Andrew's definitely teasing a lot of things here. I'm noticing he's swinging the camera this way and that.
Yeah.
He's got this grin on his face over there that's just like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm
from the reveal trailer. There's that dragon. Oh my God.
This is another location where the students will gather, and just kind of chill out.
And an opportunity to talk to somebody, get a quest giver here.
Is everything all right?
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm Nellie, by the way. I'm just so excited that the Daedalian keys are back.
The what keys?
The Daedalian keys. Surely you've seen them flying about. Rumour is that a former headmistress, Professor Moll, conjured them to protect the contents of certain locked cabinets years ago. Professor Black couldn't be bothered to disenchant the keys, and they appear every few years. You should try to catch one.
Why would I do that?
Each key will lead you to a locked cabinet somewhere in the castle. If you can manage to get the key into the cabinet lock, not an easy task, you may find a reward.
What is this smoke going on over there?
Perhaps I'll give it a go.
I hope you do. In fact, I think I heard one of the keys in the astronomy tower. You should listen for them.
So those kind of side quests are really, it's a cool way to interact with your fellow students, with perhaps other teachers, with, various things like that, as well as teach you some more of the secrets of Hogwarts, I think. There's a little bit of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the students are a way to kind of like flesh out the school opportunities around it, what we can do, and then those interactions, different interactions with different characters.
Bad acting and dialogue.
Also offer different choice points for the player, and then some of those things can affect things game-wide. Some of these affect characters' lives.
Not Naughty Dog quality, for sure.
And sometimes it's just about you being a little bit of a nice guy or just being a jerk.
Yes, absolutely. So the scale really varies, but those opportunities exist for the player.
Wow, look at this.
This is the Dada Defense Against the Dark Arts.
Power.
Which
it's cool how diverse each of the different
in the castle, just visually
locations are.
And just the
but again,
richness of this
there's
very unique to anywhere else in the castle.
Somebody else that we can talk to.
The music is different when you walked into this building as well, which is cool that each building has its own music.
Are you all right?
Don't you know who I am? Zenobia Noak, the girl whom everyone at school hates for no reason.
Everyone hates you. Why?
Because Hogwarts is full of bullies and spoilsports. Leander Pruitt's one of the worst, that no-talent moon mind. I wanted to make some
moon mind,
and so I brought my collection down to the common my gobstone collection, that is. I was hoping someone would want to play. Are you familiar with gobstones? Little balls, like marbles. Grand game. And if you lose, they spray you with a foul-smelling liquid.
Tell her it sounds terrible. Yes!
I haven't much interest in a game that sprays you with odors.
Only if you lose, which I never do. Or at least, not often. People can be so cruel. Just because they're sprayed all over with smelly gobstone spit, it's their own fault for losing. Imelda is one of the worst losers. Everett and Astoria are terrible as well. And now those poor losers have taken my gobstones and hidden them in very high places all over the school.
Lots of run around and get these missions going on here.
I didn't make the
Get
rules.
the pages floating around, get the gobstones, get the keys.
I don't think I know the necessary spells yet. I need someone, perhaps a selfless and talented fifth year to help me.
Little pulses spray you with liquid.
I'll see what I can do.
I'd appreciate the help.
Finding the references from the books. Yeah, it's been a long while since I've read the books. It's been a hot minute since I've read the books. But
and Jackstone by myself in no time.
I love that interaction with her because there's so many ways that you can go with that. You can you can feel for her. You can be a jerk to her. You can be like, Gobstone sounds awful. It sounds like you're just mean.
Yeah, and your opportunities to be mean there aren't over. So,
they continue.
That's a good example of the
gobstones too. I know people are gonna ask. Gobstones playable? They mentioned it, right?
Yeah. Gobstones is one of the things that is not playable in the game. I know we've had to rip.
Can't play Gobstones. 0 out of 10.
It's it's an amazing thing on the franchise.
Not playing it.
Things about this,
Hogwarts Legacy
sucks. As fans, and that we want to turn into gameplay. And there were calls that we had to make over the course of production of kind of which things we will and won't include in the bucket,
Gobstones,
just kind of for the overall.
Wizard's chest.
Yeah. Those are things that aren't featured.
Yeah. They're featured within the world. Right?
I'm glad they're mentioned. They're a part of the wizarding world.
Yeah. Every single time there was something that we regretted because we couldn't include it. We also tried to figure out a way to make sure that it was included in the narrative, included in the stories, make sure that there's a way to kind of acknowledge it, touch it, and make it feel like it's definitely part of the world.
Maybe in Hogwarts Legacy 2, you'll be able to do it.
We're
literally 2 dialogue options. Yeah, there was
we're in this against
that's one of the things with voice protagonists, isn't it? Is you gotta limit the amount of dialogue that you're gonna be putting in the game.
Recognize the dragon at the very top. Oh my gosh.
Being in a classroom, I think this is a good opportunity to talk about how classes work, because we've gotten a lot of questions about that. Is it a schedule-based system? Is it so tell us how classes work?
Yeah, so ultimately we decided not to go the sim route. So I think one of the speculations was, is there time of day and that kind of thing. Can I miss class at this time of day?
There is a day-night cycle.
Yeah, there is a day-night cycle, but everything is very narrative-based, and so there's a big mystery going on in the world. There's something happening in the narrative, and we essentially see it as kind of like chapters in that narrative. Each chapter of which has a set of missions that you can choose between as you're progressing through the game, and classes fit within that structure. So there are mainline things that the players have to do, and then classes also appear on the sides as well as optional things that help you advance your spells. It's absolutely true that classes provide all of your major tools throughout the gameplay, your spells, your major abilities. You get to know the professors. Each one of them has these bespoke kind of events and moments in those missions. And then there are also additional opportunities outside of that through kind of side classroom missions, essentially, where you can learn additional spells or things that you need in your adventure and also get to know the professors better.
And I just want to call out something that Andrew's been
so
kind of showing
so
off,
I guess it's like a Red Dead thing.
Interact with the environment and just engage with the world, and maybe
or
be down there
type.
Sipping some tea with the.
So you can't miss classes.
High society.
And it's no wonder you like this area because we built it for the purebloods and the Slytherins.
Oh, come on.
Well, speaking of lived in, the sound effects again, the chatter of the communication that's happening and the footsteps, it just makes it feel more alive.
Little events like that, the brooms going by overhead.
Yeah, I like the brooms going by, although there wasn't any sound, I don't think. I didn't hear any sound when they went by.
Data Tower was one example, but no 2 hallways should look the same in Hogwarts. It has a lot of personality. Every hallway should be a little bit different, and that's mostly
the environments are incredible.
Right.
Literally, the school is out of this world. The amount of detail in it, it's crazy.
From the Marauders, a name that came from the Marauders map. But every hallway will have a little bit of a different personality and.
Personality, I like that because it does.
I feel like this is where
Hogwarts has character. Hogwarts is its own character, no matter
50% of the effort seems like it went into making the school feel as
magic for hundreds of years. It's going
accurate as it could be, and they did a really good job on it.
Speaking of characters,
they did a really good job.
Speaking of magic,
Peeves.
Magic himself.
My future poltergeist.
Hey, Timmer.
We talked about building on lore too. I know.
Thanks, Gandalf. Thank you for stopping by.
Lachlan the Lanky, and he's got his
I'm glad that a lot of people agreed with me about the release date and the lack of a delay, because it never made sense to me.
Hides there.
Hides behind it. That's right.
The third book.
People were very quick to assume it's been delayed, and we literally got a video 3 weeks ago from Bethesda officially. So
portraits have kind of taken it over, and so the sound makes it really unique.
All right, I gotta call this out here. I know there's been some criticism in the past that our trailers and our gameplay and what we've shown so far has not had enough owls. Okay, so here we are at the owlery. We're looking directly at the owlery to show you all of the owls.
It's a lot of owls.
It's a lot
all
of
of the owls.
At the owlery.
All the fog rolling down.
See, it's cool that like that little criticism they took into account though. Like I know they're laughing and memeing about it a bit, but like
just kind of going around on the outside of the school is that all those things that
it's nice. It's nice that they
go to, that I can visit. I just love that.
And I like the amount. I will say I like the amount of fast travel points as well to just make getting around a breeze.
Our mini tour of Hogwarts, and again, it was but a fraction of this enormous castle. But we're closing it out here in the clock tower, so another recognizable location.
Yeah.
But this is where Crossed Wands, which is the secret, not so secret dueling club, is that the students have put together. Professors definitely know about it, but they think they're being clever. And it's run by this Lucan Brattleby here,
who's in a younger year, but we kind of like that that he's running things.
Hello, Lucan. May I use the training dummy?
Of course. I'll fetch it and give you.
I will say I like that.
Ready to have a try now?
I like that it has.
That would be wonderful.
Be sure to cast all your spells before.
Oh well, not that. I was just about to say I like that the dialogue option is what the character actually says.
And this is a really good opportunity
because that always is one of the biggest thing that irritates the living crap out of me about like voice protagonist games is when you say something and then he says something completely different. I think everybody's
and in a new way.
Seen that.
For me
All right,
personally,
combat.
This is where the game like really starts to open up to the possibilities.
Yeah. So we've set up a training dummy, and this is kind of an activity where you're supposed to execute according to kind of the.
Where are the Hogwarts? Now, what is a Hogwart?
What we see on the top is the Accio spell.
Well, you know, they say only Hogwarts don't know what a Hogwart is,
and,
so.
There's certain spells what the wizards kind of like use, just kind of fling. Andrew's using one now. And you trigger that by tapping R2 on your controller. So you can see in the corner R2. So if you tap R2, that throws out a basic shot. But that R2 is also your gateway to all of the spells that you might slot. So if you hold R2 instead, you can see how the diamond expands. And if we let go, you see how it contracts.
Yeah.
And so if you hold it again, it expands. And so when it expands, then all the spells that you slotted while you're holding that button can now be tapped with your face buttons.
Awesome.
And not only that, but over the course of the game, you can gain additional spell diamonds, up to 4 additional ones, so that you can slot up to 16 spells, you know, pretty much instantly. And
slot up to 16 out of the 20.
Fulfill the fantasy of in combat, I need to be able to access things very rapidly.
Yeah.
Interesting. How are they going to slot 16
learn over the
spells?
course of these events, you know, how to juggle not just the spell casting, but also it reinforces an understanding of another feature of the wheel, which is their cooldowns. So as you're casting spells, just to make sure that you're not just kind of like repeatedly using one thing over and over and over again, you can see cooldowns on the spells that he's using.
My first spot!
And then as you progress through the game, there are different things that can affect things, like cooldowns through your talents, different things that allow you to kind of like juggle and adjust and update those things. And so if you hold down R2 and you tap the D-pad, it will switch between your other diamonds if you've unlocked them. And that's how you access all those.
Oh, man. It looks like we're about to get some action over here.
No.
Yeah.
Well.
So this is a great way to kind of learn how to pull things together,
so you
pull those combos
right
together.
Here. Yeah. Tap, Accio, tap, tap, tap. Awesome.
Well done,
Andrew.
And that's just against the dummy, but I mean...
I'd say that's enough practice. You looked good out there.
Thank you, Lucan.
I say better to discover one's weaknesses during practice than during a duel. You'll be a fearsome challenger now.
I think now we can take on something a little more challenging. It's going to shoot back.
Now let's talk about some more features of the combat system.
Hello, Lucan. Is the next round of Crossed Wands all set?
Why, yes it is.
Let's get ready. Hold on a second.
Ready for another round?
We're on a PS5 dev kit here, so we're going to be able to kind of pause the action and talk about what you're seeing on the screen, because there is about to be a lot going on.
Sorry about this, everyone.
All right, here you can
but
select,
I will get rid of it
if you want to fight with somebody else, some of your classmates. But in this case, we're not. We want that action to feel a little more frantic towards you to really get you that sense of combat.
So apparently you've got quite the reputation because they've got you up against 3 people.
3, yeah. Off the jump.
So I can explain this just because I know people are going to go into it, but we can probably just kind of jump in. You're not the only one that has Protego and the ability to deflect. The enemies do too. And we actually play with that when it comes to the spell casting. So you notice that there are different colored kind of shields around the different characters. And you also notice that your spells have different colors on them. So to help players understand kind of like the function of their spells, we're trying to put them into brackets. So there are damage spells, there are force spells, there are, I'm forgetting the other one, all this, control spells. And so those things for the player, they
I've missed so much now dealing with that.
Indicator for which actual spell to use to break the different shields that enemies can use. That way it rewards kind of like that close attention that you're paying on things.
We've got this paused here now, and you can kind of see all the elements on the screen, the halo around the avatar's head, each of the different shields, to kind of give us a breakdown of what's going on.
Give us a breakdown of different things that you're saying.
Yeah, what do we got going on here?
So you notice at the top that we're kind of like calling out which enemy you currently have targeted and their level and health. And so, you know, as you target different characters, you'll be able to get that breakdown. The halo over your head, whenever an enemy is about to an attack, it's almost like you have a little bit of a sixth sense for those things that are coming.
Okay, your counter marker.
If you see the halo, it means there's an incoming attack, and if you tap the triangle button by default, then that you'll be able to deflect that attack that comes in and off with your Protego.
And I love that deflect where it goes off and like hits things.
Yep, you got your counter marker.
But also, if you hold the button, then it doesn't just deflect. It also deflects and turns around with a counter attack stupefy that actually stuns the enemy.
And counterattack's cool. I don't like the damage numbers, so I'm hoping that you could turn those off. I always hate damage numbers in games.
You can actually turn that attack into a
It's such an unnecessary thing when you have a health bar. You can see how much it goes down.
Here, Andrew's gonna pretty handily finish these
parry
students off here. Win this duel.
How fast it is. It's like a dance.
Yeah, we really felt like in the movies there's almost like a
cool. It looks good.
It's kind of like there's this element of kind of like fencing from a very great distance.
That's such a good call.
And there are a lot of things that we had to do with our controls and combat system in order to kind of capitalize on that idea that's pretty unique to the Wizarding world.
Understandable.
Yes. Well, perhaps you should try that next time. The other duelists have already taken notice of you, but after that last round, they'll really have it in for you. You'd better keep practicing if you want a chance of winning.
True, Gandalf.
Or at least surviving the next round. I'll let you know when we're ready. Hope to see you then.
Can you show off more, please?
The next round is for all the gobstones, so to speak.
All the unplayable gobstones?
And that is more or less going to wrap it up for us.
No more combat? All right.
To show you character creator, tour of Hogwarts, and just that little taste of combat. But we didn't want to leave you without maybe a little taste of something that we may show in the future, may show next time. So leaving the castle, going out here.
The bridge. The famous bridge.
Owls,
the Neville Longbottom bridge. Oh no, the Seamus.
There's the owlry again. Yes, all of the
I know that's not the actual official name of it.
But yeah, just heading out here again.
It is February, yes.
From Hogwarts to the world beyond Hogwarts. And this is not somewhere where we're going today, but we will definitely be taking you in the future.
That is awesome looking, I have to say. That's so flippin' cool that you can just walk seamlessly right out of Hogwarts.
All right, so we're gonna wrap
and just go into the world. Like, that's sick.
I hope you guys have enjoyed everything that you've seen, but I think, James, you may have a few other questions here at the end of things.
Please
answer while we're done with what we're showing on the gameplay side. I know there's a few things.
More! Give me more! I want more of the game. I know that I'm so hypercritical of this game for some reason. I can't help but, like, I love it.
All right, so some of these questions we did pull from the community secretly, but I did pull from the community. So,
and also from, going through this, I feel like you've come up with some things you want to talk a little more about, I'm sure.
Elaborate on, because we went through character customization.
Yeah, but like 3, 4, 5 times the size of Winterhold. Yeah.
To you guys. will we be able to go back and change our character creation if we don't like it?
So not everything, but there are certain things with hairstyle, hair color, so kind of like core shapes, you know, like with the body and face, not after the fact. But there are lots of things. There's kind of like a barbershop in Hogsmeade.
Makes sense, yeah. Okay, so you can't
and
like completely. There's no face sculptor like what we had in Skyrim.
Holidays.
None of that.
Oh my gosh, that would be so cool.
And the game features a lot of appearance customization in it. So there's a ton of options there. But that's in terms of like your character and stuff that you have, the character creator. It's like a smaller set of what you saw there.
Okay. Oh my gosh, awesome. Next question, what kind of leisurely activity can we do? Can we study?
This is a good question. He's asking good questions.
What will we be doing? Just hanging out?
I mean, there's only been 2,
because as you progress through the game, there's a bunch of different missions that open up. Most of them are driven by different characters' personalities. You know, some of them want help getting up to hijinks, or some of them want to just explore secrets in the castle because there are new secrets in our castle to explore. And so, so I think there's a bunch of things to do. And when it comes to class, as I mentioned earlier, it's not just kind of like the mainline stuff. There are kind of like extracurricular assignments, some of which are optional, some of which are kind of like blockers for main mission. Kind of like you can't go on this mission until you have the spell. And then the spell is open, you know, the assignment and how you complete it.
So it's they're like getting new spells through classes is part of the main story
to study,
in
so
a way.
To speak, like with that. But they do all take.
As long as they're not tedious, like Gotham Knights was, where it's like go stop these random procedurally generated crimes, and then you could do the story again. Like I hate that.
Do spells have different levels, or are they all equal?
Spells have different levels, or are they all equal? I'm trying to think of how to describe that. So each spell has kind of like its own core identity and what it does in the game with regards to both kind of like puzzling, world exploration, and enemy combat and all that kind of stuff. And then it's through the talent system, when you go into that, it's kind of like each of those spells has ways to kind of like advance and grow and change. And as you spend talents, in some cases it even changes like the way
I like that. That's what I wanted to hear. That's really what I wanted to hear. Is like the Mass Effect style where you have these skills and then they branch out and you can kind of customize
as you go down that line and you kind
the
of
way
play
that you
around
like
with those talents.
I like that a
does
lot.
Start to kind of like affect even how you approach combat and how you think about the battlefield.
That's cool.
I won't be touching the dark art stuff, but I know many of you guys will be.
Maybe on your second playthrough?
Second playthrough, yes. Okay. Dark Hufflepuff coming.
Dark Hufflepuff.
I want to close off with this question.
No, I don't think they're going that in depth with the. It doesn't sound like Gandalf. They're going that in depth with the classes, to be honest.
Been working on for however long, and the excitement you guys have. What's one aspect of Hogwarts Legacy that you are excited for the fans to experience, Boston?
I think I'm just excited for the fans to play through the world, specifically the castle, and maybe go read those books again.
Yeah, it's not. So they explicitly stated
either whether you're already
they explicitly
a fan,
stated. I think they probably phrased it the best way they possibly could. Like they weren't going for a Sims style of thing where like you go and attend classes and then you do it, you know, and do all that stuff like the micromanagement.
I'm just excited for fans to get to finally go to Hogwarts and feel like they can own it, and live there. I've lived there for 5 years. It's a great place to live. Official 5th year.
It's really funny because I want to give a different answer and I will, but I actually feel like the most honest answer is really similar, because my favorite thing when running around playing the game and getting to know Hogwarts the way Boston knows it, because she knows the school and the lore better than I do, and thank God, right? Because you want the person architecting it to really know that. But when I rewatch the films or I'm rereading passages from the books, there's a different relationship to those things having played the game. And so it's really looking over the edge and seeing.
Yeah, for a lot of people, it's going to be the other way around, which is pretty cool. Like
saying, I know what's around that corner in the
you have the books,
like
and then they know the books so well that they come in and play the game,
and there's
and
this
it's like,
over here, and this thing happened, and it just adds all this richness to everything that you already love.
you know, I know mostly the movies. Like I've read all the books twice through, I think.
And then the quick answer, just to have something.
I've read all the books, but I'm definitely much more familiar with the movies.
Looking at the whole world and just being like, okay, I can just go.
I can go there.
I think 1 year.
There's just something
I
exhilarating
think
about
1
it
year,
that feels
Gandalf. I think you just
very
played through
different
1 year.
Kind of open air.
And then we've
it's
seen in the
just
trailers how they
it's
go
kind of
between the
incredible.
seasons too. So I think that's kind of how they really pass
wrapping
time.
it up, you know, for me, it's just bringing the community together with it and sharing those stories, because it is your story, and you are going to be writing. You know, this is your unique experience within this, and even within the things that are the same, it's going to be your unique experience. It's different from mine. It's different from. We're all approaching it from different places, and I think that's going to be really cool, the way that everybody brings those things together.
Yeah,
Right? And that's everything that we had to show
cool.
you today. I know maybe it wasn't everything you wanted to see, but it was a whole lot of stuff. Character
It was a lot of
creator,
stuff. It's exactly what they said it would be.
Mini tour of Hogwarts there, just a small part of it, a little bit of combat.
Let's see if they
and
announce that they're going to be
we do
doing
have
anything.
Some more stuff coming up for you in the future.
It's just in the
Hogwarts
future.
Legacy releases on February 10th, 2023.
February
and
10th.
is available for pre-order now. But that's going to do it from us. We're going to leave you with a little something else. But for now,
all right, one more thing.
bye.
This was a very concise, very good. I'm sure it was like a dream come true for XpectoGO. And here we get like a little synopsis of everything we saw. The music is so good. Like, honestly, it's just incredible. I missed when they were talking a lot about the combat stuff, so with the different shields, you need specific spells to get through them. Okay, cool. Little tiny teaser at the end. All right, so, and then February 10th next year, and you could pre-order. So, honestly, like it's looking to be really good. I definitely think that there's some areas where you're going to kind of see, there's definitely seems to be areas where you're going to kind of see, like, this is their first game in this world kind of deal, right? I think you're 100% going to kind of be like, maybe in a sequel they can improve this. Maybe in a sequel they can improve that, right? And it's hard to, because its comparison is the thief of joy, and you're comparing it to a product that might not even be released yet. But there are some areas where I think it maybe looks a little bit rough around the edges. However, I will say I don't think that's going to take away from any of my enjoyment of this game. I think that the way that they've talked about the leveling up, I think that the way they've talked about the customization of your character, I want to touch more on the choices, because I think that if nothing else, this is an area where the story and the world, because obviously the world of Harry Potter is something that's so critically important to a lot of people, and it's shaped a lot of people's lives in many ways. And so I do genuinely believe that that is an area where the game can truly flourish. So if we kind of just take a look back at some of the things that we've seen, right, there was, starting off with the character creation, I think that this was all really great. It was pretty basic, right? It covers the basics. You have your preset characters. I love the variety in preset characters, because I mean, I never try to build something from scratch. I'm terrible in character creators. So this was great. It gives you plenty of templates. I mean, can we see how many there are based on how much the bar scrolls? So you got 4 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7, 8. So 8, 16, 24, about 32 different presets to choose from, which is pretty great. This is the most customization, so you're not really changing too much. And a lot of these look to be very subtle differences, but it's important to have some of those things, right? To be able to try to make the character that you want to make. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I think that the hairstyles is great. They have tons and tons of different hairstyles, which is really cool. Would be nice if you could kind of layer some of these elements, because you have the scars. What if I want that scar and that scar, right? Well, I don't have that option right now with this current character creation system, but I do think that would help to make it stand out a bit. And then we have this last section here, which was just eye colors and eyebrows. So you know, pretty standard, I would say, all things considered. You could choose between a male and a female voice, which is neat. You know, if you want to play with the masculine body and a female voice, that's nice. And I like the pitch sliders, so you can at least get kind of something that sounds different. You're not just stuck to the one voice. That's excellent. I'd be upset if they only had the one voice. I say upset. It would be a little bit like, but I'm glad that you have this. It makes me go, yes, great. So as a whole, character creator, a little bit basic, very, very simple. It like functions, it does what it needs to do. Not that complex, but I'm rolling with it. I'm jiving with it. I feel good about it. You know, you can make some good looking characters, it seems like. So that's what, as long as I can come out with a character that looks decent to me, that's all I care about. Like, you look back at the Mass Effect 1 character creator, and I would say that one is genuinely just atrocious. You get ugly things no matter almost what you do. And at least from this, you can get some good looking characters. The detail of the world, I think, is absolutely exceptional, right? From the common rooms to the hallways to the Defense Against the Dark Arts section, everything in between. This is so incredibly nice, you know. And I previously, in my gameplay analysis, when they first released the gameplay, I was highly critical about the amount of NPCs and just the general density of people around, and that's been completely, from what we've seen here, just changed, or they just showed from different angles or different times of day. Whatever it was, it looks much better to me. You know, even things like the ghosts just kind of floating around. Everybody is kind of doing something slightly unique over here. Like, I mean, which is nice. You don't want to see like everybody just kind of sit in the exact same way, but this girl holding her textbook, these people, they're all just kind of sitting around, I guess. But you know, what else are they going to do? I guess maybe some of them could be reading a book, or some of them could be cleaning their wands, right? Or just looking at a potion vial. I don't know, something. So that not everybody's... And again, I'm only going to be this critical over some of these things because everything else looks so good. So that when some of this stuff stands out a bit more, because all of it sounds good. I really did like... I want to turn this up for a bit because I really did like the sound design in this game. That's something I think will go very underappreciated. But if you listen, you could hear Peeves. Like, he's gonna, and then we're gonna see him kind of sliding down this railing, but you could hear him, and the way that it echoes off of this chamber, I think, is brilliantly done. So I'm gonna shut up for a second.
Fifth year, what does that mean? How do we catch up to the other students?
Okay.
And so we have...
Oh, we were a little bit too far ahead.
Year, what does that mean? But...
Continue.
There you go. You can hear it if you listen really closely. They're talking over it, but
in our game we had to answer the question. You know, we're a late fifth year. What does that mean? How do we catch up to the other students?
Okay.
There he goes. So I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I can hear it like coming between the left and the right audio, which is super awesome. I love that. I think that's great. I'm also going to just transition to this view over here. I have a separate view for kind of when we're looking into things. It's called my analysis mode view. So here we get the guide, and they explain that the guide was given to you by the Ministry of Magic in order to help you catch up, because you're coming in as a fifth year student, and you have, it works as kind of your main menu, which is cool. I like that. And then you also have the challenges, which breaks things down even further, right? I'm impressed with how much gameplay they've released. That's pretty refreshing. Yeah, no, it's great. It's awesome that they're really talking about this game, because I want more people to see it. I want more people to get excited about it. I want more, and the community behind this game is absolutely incredible. Like, genuinely, they're absolutely incredible. So really nice and clean, organized way to kind of lay out your main menu. And it's an immersive way to do it too, right? Because you get this field guide from the Ministry of Magic with your official house logo, which makes you, feel a little bit more attached to it, I guess. But it's cool. Collections, challenges, settings, owl post, so you get mail from family or from friends. I'm curious who's sending you mail, but that'll be interesting to see. Of course, your inventory, which I would have liked to see how the inventory works. That would have been cool, but I'm assuming they wanted to stay away from spoilers. The map, of course, quests, I'm guessing you're going to get a 3D map based on the way this image is. And then your clothes and gear, which we know that your clothes affects your stats to some capacity.
You'll see different types of challenges that are combat challenges.
And I like, you know, the way the book opens up and things come out, you know, the animations between navigating the menu. And then it's nice, too, that you don't have to always kind of go back to that main menu. You can sort of switch through the tabs here. So I like that. It's not always like, all right, go back to the book, then go into the thing. Go back to the book, and then go into the thing. You can just, once you click on one thing, you can get to all of it, which is great. These challenges, I'm always weary of challenges in games, right? You look at something, I think Red Dead Redemption 2 is a great example where it's sort of, you know, oh, shoot your bow and arrow at this target while jumping off of your horse at least 15 feet vertically in the air. And also shoot him directly in the head. Like, I hate that kind of stuff. So, assuming that the challenges don't get absolutely ridiculous to do, and they're the sort of things that you are able to do through your natural gameplay and just kind of from playing the game, and it encourages you to try different play styles, I think that's where challenges really thrive. Is like, yeah, use this combination of spells. And you use that combination of spells and you find out, oh, crap, that's actually really effective. Like, you know, I like those kind of things. Or, you know, even God of War kind of did it where it's like, kill 100 Draugr. And you go, okay, I'm just going to end up killing Draugr anyway. And you go through the game, kill Draugr, and then after you kill X amount of Draugr, you get rewarded. So depending on what kind of challenges these are, could be a good or bad thing. And the worst case scenario is it's something that you ignore, right? Because often I find myself personally in games a lot of time, I find myself ignoring challenges completely. Just because I don't like to micromanage. I don't like to metagame. I just want to play the game. I don't want to have to be like, all right, let me now focus on hitting 3 things backwards with blah, 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 blah. Like, I hate that stuff. There's so many Hogwarts Legacy gameplay videos live right now. Yeah, there's a lot of live streams, so thank you, Mr. Fee, for stopping by this one. I know the Hogwarts community of people gathered around this game, I have to say they're absolutely incredible. Like, genuinely, they're absolutely incredible. There's so much passion behind the IP that I'm not surprised so many people are talking about it at all. Zarcaster, you were a bit underwhelmed, and I could see why some people might be underwhelmed by this gameplay demo as well. It's exactly what I was expecting, if I'm being honest, so I'm not underwhelmed, unless you're underwhelmed by something very specifically like the combat didn't really pique your interest or that kind of thing. I really do like the amount of fast travel points around as well. I think that's great. I hope that you could, they did say that you could customize, excuse me. They did say that you could customize this minimap, so I hope you could just kind of put it to like a compass at the top, which is Skyrim style, God of War style, right? A lot of games kind of mimic the way that Skyrim did it, with just having the compass at the top, and I like that, and I hope that you could do something similar here, because I'm not usually a fan of these big bubbles minimaps in the corner. Now again, I know for some reason I'm so picky over the NPCs in this game. I don't know why, but I feel like the students make up such a large portion of what makes Hogwarts. Other than the castle itself, then you have the students that make it feel alive. But like, just what are these students possibly cheering over? Like, what, and you just see them doing the same animation, right? She's like, yay, clapping. She's like, oh no, that, or he, I don't know what they are. Right, just like, woo, like, who, A, who are you clapping to? B, what do you do? Like, does it not, like, that's not how people behave, and they're just gonna keep standing there and doing it. You know, some of those things are a little bit strange to me. Like, what are you just staring? It's not like you have friends around that are cheering with you, or a crowd of people that's gathered and you're all cheering together. It's just the two of you individually, like, clapping at the points counter, like the hourglass counters. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a bit of a dick to the game, but you know, they're still just doing it, right? The paintings subtly moving. I like that. I did think I just noted. Yeah, all right. So they still weirdly have some of this snapping going on. You could actually see it when you don't take it frame by frame a bit better. Just watch the portrait of the old man where they still kind of have, it's like people are loading in and he just like jerks into reality, which now when you have a massively entirely seamless castle the way Hogwarts is, like everything in this castle has been seamless, to have something loading in like that I guess is to be expected. But these pages floating around as collectibles, you know, I will say one thing that I'm a little bit like on is that you have collect the pages, and then she later, or the main character here later gets a quest where it's like, oh, collect these keys to get some rewards. And then later you find another student that's like, oh, collect my gobstones. So lots of like go around and pick things up. Please don't rely. I hope that's just what they showed here today and that the game isn't relying that heavily on fetch quests, because yikes. That wouldn't be fun. But again, I like the NPC density. I like, you saw like a little bit of a whoosh over here. If we take a couple steps back. There you go. So this is one of those pages, I'm assuming. It's one of the things that you need to cast Revelio on in order to see. I like the, you know, the amount of NPCs just walking around, going about their things. And again, the castle in and of itself looks absolutely incredible. I said it while we were kind of during the live stream, but I swear to God, 50% of the effort in this game was like making this castle feel hyper realistic and just ultra believable, and they blew it completely out of the water. Like, they did such a great job. I mean, even the sense of scale, like getting to see the different towers and the areas, and the fact that you can go to every single one of these places on the campus at Hogwarts is just absolutely incredible. So I'm blown away by that. I love seeing like the students going by on their brooms, like a bunch of people from different houses talking, so you don't just have like only Gryffindor students can talk to Gryffindor students. Yeah, Mr. Fee, I completely agree, Mr. Fee. I think that this game looks really good. I've seen some people saying like, it doesn't, but I think it's very stylized. It's not like this hyper-realistic graphic style, and I'm fine with that. I don't care. In fact, I think in some ways, you know, trying to actually get a distinct style is sometimes better than just trying to go for hyper-realistic. So I really like the art style. I really like visually. I also like the little cloud that's just floating around. I wonder what student put that there. Again, just the different halls and the way the architecture style each looks individual. The moving painting, right? The moving walls with the smoke coming out of the dragon's mouth. It's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. The lighting and the reflections from the light off of this painting as he kind of goes down the stairs too, right? Just the way the lighting reflects off of the environments is great. And the floor tiles here, and you could see that it's reflecting differently off this paint than it, like this painted part of the floor, than it is just the stone floor. Everything is really, really cool. Even these are moving here. Now, he did mention that the guy who's controlling the camera is intentionally kind of looking in specific spots to tease things. So I'm really, really curious about that. I wonder what this symbol could possibly mean here. Very curious what that might be. I'm not sure if we've seen... You could also see it on the minimap, so I guess you don't have to look that closely to find those kinds of things. But there you go. The lighting and the way that it floods into the room is absolutely gorgeous. It's one of the things that I noted in my initial gameplay analysis of Hogwarts Legacy, was that the lighting in some of these environments. There's another page. Collect the pages. And the Riddler is in doing something here in Hogwarts Legacy. Yeah, I guess you got your Riddler trophies to collect as well. I wonder what this room is. This is another thing too. Like, this is a doorway to something. Can we go in there? Is that like a... This looks like it might be some kind of thing that you can get into eventually. Maybe you need to collect a bunch of stuff to get through here. But how many... it just raises a question in my mind. Are there going to be just sections of the castle where here's a shut door, you can't go behind that door? Which, if that is the case, completely understandable. Like, I get it, because... to really do every single possible thing in Hogwarts would be absolutely astronomical. But you know, we have some different weather effects going on here with the fog that looks great. Then you get to some of the performances,
you know, and just
right?
kind of chill out.
And an opportunity to talk to somebody.
Is everything all right?
Some of the voice acting.
I'm sorry. I'm Nellie, by the way. I'm just so excited that the Daedalian keys are back.
The what keys?
The Daedalian keys. Surely you've seen them flying about. Rumour is that a former headmistress, Professor Mole, conjured them to protect the contents of certain locked cabinets years ago.
It sounds
Professor
good.
Black
It sounds good to me. You know what it sounds? The voice acting and the delivery and the writing sounds like very RPG, like such almost stereotypical RPG, and not in a bad way. It's just like. The other girl exemplifies it perfectly, where she unironically turns around and says, "Oh, if only a 5th-year student could help me." Like, that's so typical RPG mechanics, where you walk up to someone and it's like, "I have this problem. If only someone could help me." And you're like, "All right, fine, I'll do it." It's just so unapologetically RPG. And the way that she's just delivering this exposition, and she's telling you what the keys are, and that you can go unlock the chest to go get your rewards. Like, it's just so RPG gamey. That's the best way I can explain it. And part of me just loves the absolute charm and the unapologetic nature of it.
Of certain locked cabinets.
But you're not getting your, you know, your Naughty Dog performances here, right? Your Last of Us and God of War and you know, all that stuff. I think that's kind of par for the course when you're looking at an RPG game in general. I don't know why that's par for the course for RPGs, but it does just kind of seem like it. So I don't care. I love RPG games, and this it doesn't bother me. You know, no, again, it's not The Last of Us, but who's expecting that?
Professor
It would be
Black couldn't be bothered to disenchant
irrational
the keys,
to think that's what
and
you're getting.
they appear every few years. You should try to catch one.
Why would I do that?
Each key will lead you to a locked cabinet somewhere in the castle.
Why would I do?
And they appear every few years. You should try to catch one.
Why would I do that?
Each key will lead you to a locked cabinet somewhere in the castle. If you can manage to get the key into the cabinet lock, not an easy task, you may find a reward.
You know, seems like you're typically getting about like 3 to 4 dialogue choices, or 2 to 3 dialogue choices. Excuse me.
You should listen for them.
Where you could kind of just inquire
so
further.
Kind of side quests are really.
It doesn't seem as though there's really much of like an affinity system where NPCs, like if you're nasty to them, they'll kind of
some of
be
these
like
affect characters' lives.
But
the ending of the game.
And sometimes
affect character player.
All right, wait. They're talking about ending of the game.
Interactions with different characters can also offer different choice points for the player, and then some of those things can affect things game wide. Some of these affect characters' lives.
All right, so some of the things that you do in the game can affect characters' lives. They can affect game wide. They can have effects on the end of the game. So there's certain decision points, and I like that. And with this kind of like go get the Daedalian keys quest, you're not going to see that. And they didn't show any of that kind of stuff off here. But I do really think that that's where this game is going to shine, is the story and the choice and consequence. I think, and of course that the fact that it's Harry Potter, like, right, you get to roam around Hogwarts and be a witch. I think those are the things that's going to really sell this game. And if they have incredible choice and consequence, and you can see the ramifications that you as the player have by interacting with some of these characters, and I'm not talking about the Daedalian Key Girl, I'm talking about some of the companions that you get in the game, right, and some of the staff and the teachers and some of those other things, that is where I firmly believe Hogwarts Legacy is just going to, ooh, mwah, beautiful, like incredible. And I really hope they push that to their absolute limit.
And sometimes it's just about you being a little bit of a nice guy or just being a jerk.
Yes, absolutely.
Again, now we're in the defense against the Dark Arts Tower. I just like that you have some different things. Again, this symbol going on, not quite sure what that means. I don't know. You have people playing around with like a tiny dragon over here, which is pretty cool. Maybe as
defense against the dark arts,
like a Zonko's product.
Which this is one of my favorite locations in the castle. Just visually, you come in here and just
the visual styles.
Zenobia Oak. The girl whom everyone at school hates for no reason.
Hates you.
Leander friends.
Yeah, so the dialogue options are, you know, you get like one of 3 choices, it seems.
I haven't much interest in a game that sprays you with odors.
But you know what? It's not that robust, but it does allow you to kind of define yourself a little bit. You know, what kind of character do you want to be? Do you just want to be like, yeah, like I'd have taken your gobstones as well, or you want to be nice to the student?
You caused a smelly situation, and they responded accordingly.
I didn't make the rules. Anyway, I can't work out how to get them back on my own.
I'm curious as to
Anyway.
how much the dialogue actually matters for some of these things, right? Where, like, if you pick one of those 2 options, if she's just gonna have like 3 extra lines, and then she just goes to whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, where RPGs, they give you the illusion of dialogue choice, and yeah, you could say one of those 2 things, and basically the tangent of dialogue is like, you pick option A or option B. I realize I'm off camera. You pick option A or option B, and then it kind of like diverges like that, and then it just meets back to where it was going to go anyway. In regards to the dialogue.
Can't work out how to get them back. Someone, perhaps a selfless and talented 5th year to help me.
There it is. Perhaps a selfless and talented 5th year. Like, it's just so... you could learn about her further. Like, these are the kinds of things that I like, right? You could kind of inquire about her further and learn about her character a bit more.
I'll see what I can do.
Woke propaganda, race swapped Harry Potter, no buy mode on, no money for destruction of culture, and freedom of art.
I'd appreciate
Okay.
the
Fair enough. No, this is just a custom created Harry Potter character that somebody made, so...
And your opportunities to be mean there aren't over. So,
because you can, you know, make your own character and try to make them look like however you want.
Gobstones, too.
We've had to rip the band franchise. How many
classrooms look great.
The world.
This is where they talked
Wizard's
about the
chest.
classrooms.
They
They mentioned you can't play Wizard's Chest or Gobstones or any of the games, really.
I was like, we're in the Defense Against the Dark Arts class. I recognize that staircase to the left where we were just at. Andrew was walking by. I also recognize the dragon at the very top. Oh my gosh.
Being in a classroom, I think this is a good opportunity to talk about how classes work, because we've gotten a lot of questions about that. Is it a schedule-based system? Is it a schedule system? Tell us how classes work.
Yeah, so ultimately we decided not to go the sim route.
Sim route.
I think like one of the speculations was, is there time of day and you know, that kind of thing. Like, can I miss class at this time of day?
There is a day-night cycle.
Yeah, there is a day-night cycle, but everything is very narrative-based, and so there's a big mystery going on in the world. There's something happening in the narrative, and we essentially see it as kind of like chapters in that narrative. Each chapter of which has a set of missions that you can choose between as you're progressing through the game, and classes fit within that structure. So there are.
Alright, so classes fit within the overall narrative of a game. So you're gonna have to choose, like, oh, I'm going to, and then they progress the story. So are you going to have to choose to progress the story? I'm gonna go to my herbology class or my care for magical creatures class instead of going to potions. Is that how that works, or is it going to be a matter where you are required to go to a specific class in order to progress? Really, really curious about that. Love the architecture, graphics really impressive. The castle design itself is great, but I do wish they could have clarified more about the classes. What are you staring at there, grumpy girl?
We essentially see it as kind of like chapters in that narrative, each chapter of which has a set of missions that you can choose between as you're progressing through the game, and classes fit within that structure. So there are mainline things that the players have to do, and then classes also appear on the sides as well as optional things that help you advance your spells. It's absolutely true that classes provide all of your major tools throughout the gameplay, your spells, your major abilities. You get to know the professors. Each one of them has these bespoke kind of events and moments in those missions. And then there are also additional opportunities outside of that through kind of.
Okay, so you can do it's a bit of a hybrid system. You can take on side quests for some of your classes, and then there's some main quests. They said that you make choices of what missions you choose to go on, and again, as far as replayability goes, if you have to choose, like, I'm gonna go do A, B, or C options to progress the main story, and that locks you out of the other two, I think that's really cool. I like that, and I think too few games kind of do that because they want players to be able to experience every single thing in the game. But you know, being able to actually go on
kind of
different
like
missions,
side classroom missions essentially.
Says a
where
lot
you
to me.
can
You're going to get a
learn
shorter
additional
game
spells or things that
overall
you need
because,
in your
of course, if
adventure,
they're making
and also
3
get to know the
separate
professors
missions.
better.
And I just want to call out something.
Like, they're making 3 separate missions instead of getting like one, let's say, hour-long mission. You're going to get 3 20-minute missions, right? So I'm curious to kind of see how that would play out. But ultimately, like, the direction that they're going in. Some visual glitches that are going on that you can notice, like, just watch as he kind of rounds the corner and through the doorway, you kind of see, I think through this doorway, you kind of see, like, the lighting from the outside just, like, leaking through. Yeah, there you go. So little flashes, not really noticeable, nothing really that bad. I like the animations. I love the ambient things going on in the world. I think that's really all I can say about it outside of getting to the combat. Peeves messing around with students. I wonder if you go and help him out, if that changes something, if you get something for going and helping out that student, or you just got to sit there and watch. Here's another like little Revelio thing that we just saw on that map. So those seem like opportunities to learn about the lore of the castle, which is cool because this lady right here, like, that's, as far as I could tell, that's basically her whole job, was to provide the lore. They've increased the amount of owls that you can see flying around. And then we get to the combat. Now, I missed a lot of this because I had a bot enter chat.
Being clever.
So
way and in a new way. For me personally, this was where the game like really starts to open up to the possibilities.
Now,
So we've set up a.
What we know is that you have this really cool layout, and I like the way that they did the system where, like, pressing the R2 or on right trigger on Xbox controller will just kind of shoot out basic spells, and I guess you could just keep going like pew 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 and just like mashing the controller to do that. However, when you hold the controller, that's when you get kind of options to some of your other hotkeyed spells
so you
here.
can see in the corner R2.
And I think that's a really cool way to utilize it.
Yeah.
I'm curious, were there cooldowns? There's cooldowns for these spells, so you can't just spam them. So like this one is Accio, I think? Accio? And Accio also holds them in the air. And they use that all the time. We've seen that used frequently.
Cooldowns on the spells that he's using on the wheel.
Or is that? This is Leviosa. So what is it? Because they use
spells just to make sure that you're not just
Accio, and then they use.
Also it reinforces.
Oh, it pulls you. It does pull them closer to you. Okay.
Feature of the wheel, which is their
versus Leviosa, which
cooldowns on the spells that he's using.
Leviosa, which just holds them in place. Gotcha. Okay. So there is a bit of a difference, but it still lets you just juggle them either way.
If you've unlocked them. And you tap the D-pad, it will switch between your other diamonds if you've unlocked them.
Okay, and then
the D-pad, it will switch between
he's talking about the D-pad controls.
And so if you hold down R2 and you tap the D-pad, it will switch between your other diamonds if you've unlocked them, and that's how you access all those.
Oh man.
Okay, so you hold down R2, then you press the D-pad, and it cycles between diamonds. It's kind of like Dragon Age Inquisition, I think, where Dragon Age Inquisition did a thing where you have a similar diamond, but you can swap between 2 diamonds on the fly based on the abilities that you want to use. And I think it was Dragon Age Inquisition that did that. It's been a long time since I played that game, but that's a good system. And then it seems they said on the D-pad you can kind of
more challenging. It's gonna shoot back.
Hello, Lucan.
Ready for another round?
The action.
Yeah.
Some of your classes are really good.
Just because I know people are going to go into it, but we can probably
break through violet shields with 4 spells like the summoning charm. To manually target, press R3. So you got that lock-on system, which we knew about that.
And we actually play with that when it comes to the spell casting. So you notice that there are different colored kind of shields around the different characters. And you also notice that your spells have different colors on them. So to help players understand kind of like the function of their spells, we're going to put them into
that's
brackets.
a really good way to do it.
There are damage spells, there are force spells, there are, I'm forgetting the other one, all of a sudden, control spells. And so those things for the player, they wind up also being a color indicator for which actual spell to use to break the different shields that enemies can use.
Okay, that's a really, really good way to do it, which is this color directly coordinates with the color of their shield that can break through the shield. Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. I'm curious how often they can kind of replenish those
elements on kind of,
because I imagine one thing that I think could be a cause for concern might be if you have, like, you play on a harder difficulty and then suddenly because you're on a harder difficulty, they just keep putting their shields up right away, but then you have to wait for your spells on cooldown before you can use them again. And I could imagine a situation where that gets a little bit annoying. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but probably, most likely, difficulty is just going to kind of control how much damage they do versus how much damage you do, which is not the best difficulty system, but that's the way a lot of RPGs do it. It's just kind of the standard.
Tap the triangle button by default.
I personally like when the developers try to change the difficulty based on the aggressiveness of the enemies, how often they'll be able to target you, that kind of thing. Not necessarily that they do 60% damage instead of 20% damage. Those barrels are sick. I like that you could see the prompt there to kind of pick them up and do all these combos with the objects in the world. And I hope that this is kind of one of the bigger areas that you can interact with things, because that will really help to add a lot of dynamic diversity to the combat, I think, is having those opportunities to wield things and just chuck things at people instead of just spam, 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 lift them up, spam, 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 lift them up, spam, spam, spam. Of course, there's going to be other spells that you can use, right? You know, this is just like a sample. There's a total of 20 spells, which I think is a good amount, especially considering you're a first year. And then they go outside, which again, all of this is just completely seamless, that you can walk out here and then... I wonder what those are. Is that something probably to have to do with riding your broom in Quidditch, maybe? But, you know, getting to be able to see this whole thing is just absolutely great. So, overall, I'm really excited for this game. It looks awesome. It really, really, really does. Let's see what some people are saying about it. Boring. Hogwarts greater than God of War. God of War for Game of the Year. Good, because this isn't coming out in the same year. Looks so pretty. The faces are worse than Mass Effect. The facial animations weren't the best thing, but, you know, I'm not holding that against it. Quidditch would be a whole other game in and of itself. There were separate Quidditch games. Bro, the AIs were literally doing the same animation over and over by the house points. Yeah, glad that somebody else noticed the same thing I did. Like, why are they just, like, cheering in front of nothing? 9 out of 10 if the NPC had better voice actors, and 10 out of 10, I'm sure a patch will fix it up. No, probably not this close to release. Maybe if it was like, actually, that's we got November, December, January, February, 4 months. I think that's a little bit close to be changing those kinds of things. A little bit close to change those kinds of things. I know if you look at like the Skyrim demo in 2011 and then the release of Skyrim in November, they were able to change the voice acting then. They were using temporary voice actors for the demos, but this one might be a little bit tight. VR would be cool. All right, so yeah, people generally seem like they're liking it. Pre-ordered a few days ago. Gonna be lots of fun. Childhood dream come true. XpectoGO. So excited. I have been waiting for this game for like the past 7 years. So I'm excited for it, and I hope that you guys will join me for some, if I do end up doing some deeper coverage of Hogwarts Legacy. I would love to see some of you guys there for it. But thank you to all of you who joined my stream today. Really appreciate each and every one of you being here. Makes it fun for me. Hope it's fun for you guys. I do want to try to stream on Fridays more often. Those graphics in VR should be too much for quite all systems. Would be tough, wouldn't it? I mean, maybe if you're looking at like 4090 or 4080s, right? Maybe 4060s and 70s when those eventually come out, it might be possible for those types of games. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure. You know, it might be tough to do that kind of thing. So anyway, thank you guys so much for joining. I hope to see you in the next stream, maybe next Friday, possibly. So keep an eye out for that. And also trying to work on getting a podcast series out, a weekly podcast series where we cover all gaming events, you know, all the latest in gaming news. So hope that I can organize that, and I have somebody in mind that I want to do it with, but their schedules are really, really rough. So we'll see. But thank you guys, and I hope to see you all next time.